Hi, and welcome back to our sprinter build series. We just got home from a month-long trip in the van. Everything worked fantastic, so we'll be getting back to our regularly scheduled videos. I'm very happy to report that both the van and the build did fantastic on this trip. None of the build fell apart, nothing fell off the van as far as I can tell. The only problems we had, their soap dispenser failed on the first day, so that's no good. But we can survive such things. And due to a mistake of my own, I gouged this cabinet and I refinished it before the trip, and even though it's cut from the same piece of wood as these, it came out darker, so I will need to refinish these again. And this latch is different from these, and that's because there's a pull-out table behind it, so there's no room for a lock mechanism. So I tried using this and it rattles spectacularly on dirt roads. So that's no good. Gonna have to replace that. So those are pretty minor things, so I'm very, very pleased. So today we're going to talk about water systems, so let's move on to that. So let's do a little recap on this galley area. We have a 1/2-inch plywood countertop covered in a matte black laminate, dropped in a stainless steel sink, the strainer, a non-functioning soap dispenser, and then a faucet with a pull-out. That works great. Now inside this cabinet, I decided to go with the water jugs as opposed to a water tank. Now here's what my layout looks like. We've got a galley. We have some pretty spacious overhead cabinets all the way down. We have our seat that folds into a bed. We have the entire electrical system in this box. So for storage, we have this area remaining, and we have this entire area that's waiting to be framed in 80/20 for additional cabinetry. With this space, I can either fill this space with a microwave and food and paddle boards and outdoor gear, or I could have a water tank sit here and all that other stuff would just be floating around inside the van. So I don't want that. This is nice and compact. Now for our water tanks, I'm using an L-track system to securely hold these in place. So when I want to pull the tanks out, I just reach down, pull the latch, and it releases. Get those out of the way. And then I have 2 quick releases to release the supply lines. Now with the tanks out of the way, I simply unthread the top. Here's our suction line. Refill it. And put them back in place. Now these work really great for a couple of reasons. You saw how quick it is to disconnect and reconnect your system. But there's also check valves in both ends. So you'll notice that these lines are still full of water. If I push on the end of the valve, I'll get water coming out. So when you go to refill your water jugs, you won't have drips all over the floor. And additionally, if you only wanted to, say, use one tank, you can plug this one in, and you don't have to do anything with this end because it's already closed off. So that's nice as well. So everything is 1/2 inch. So there's 1/2 inch barbs on each end of these quick disconnects. I just put a hose clamp on there. It's probably overkill. I used a 1/2" T here, and then it goes up to the 1/2" barb on the water pump strainer. Now taking a closer look, there's a water pump that I have mounted to the van body. It comes with rubber feet on it, so it doesn't vibrate the body. Something I was kind of half expecting, but it actually works really well. I screwed on the standard strainer straight onto the pump, and again, my 1/2" food grade line just connects up to the barb on this end. So that's the entire suction side. All of this is all that's required for the suction side of your water system. Now on the other side of the pump, it's going to be hard to see, but I just used standard braided water supply line, and it threads on to the top of the water pump. I didn't need anything special. It threaded right on. And the reason that you see a T here is because I don't currently have hot water. So if I didn't put this T in, this is supposed to be hot water to the faucet, cold water to the faucet. If I didn't do it this way, then when you turn the faucet on, you'd have to turn it to the cold side to get any water. So the T just takes care of that at this point. And as for the drain, I'm using a really inexpensive drain off of Amazon. I think it's a Camco, and this is the line that comes with it. I bought this is 3/4 inch. I bought a 3/4 inch to 1/2" barbed fitting to put these together. You'd be amazed, you cannot find these at Home Depot. I had to order this online. It's the only place I could find it. And this line goes through the wall, and it goes down around the corner, and there's a body plug under the van down here where it just pops out. So a friend told me about that one, so I really appreciate the advice on that. And that means that you can get your system to drain without drilling any holes in the van. Now, it's not going to drain nearly as quickly as if you drill a big 1.5" hole in your floor, but it drains well enough for me that I'm going to run this for a while. I don't know how it's going to work when I put in a gray water tank, but for now this works great, and I'll address that issue later. Alright, here's underneath a 144 Sprinter. Other vans and other wheelbases will probably be different, but there's a body plug right here. Looks just like this one, or just like that one, that I popped out. It's the last one before the leaf spring mount. So it comes out of there, and it's going to go into this Tidy Cat bucket for right now. Once our tanks are refilled, back in place. Reconnect our fittings. Turn on the water pump. And we have water. Well, the other nice thing about this is that when you disconnect the system, the check valves, since it doesn't allow any water drain, it means that you don't get air in the line. So as soon as you reconnect and you turn it on, it just goes without having to purge. Now, as far as hooking up the water pump, there's just 2 wires. I ran the positive wire through a switch, and then it goes to distribution block. I have a distribution block back behind my drawers, and this distribution block will power my carbon monoxide detector, the water pump, some lights, the refrigerator. So that distribution block is specifically for the galley, so made for an easy hookup. Now these water jugs, I did a lot of research to find good quality ones. A lot of the overlanding crowd will recognize these as scepters or scepter replicas. These are apparently made by the same company that contracted with the U.S. government to make water jugs. So these were good quality. I'll post a link to the ones that I purchased. So what I'm going to do is cut off this, because these are not standard threads. So I'm going to cut this off, and then we're going to put a quick connector on here. I gave this a quick scuffing up with sandpaper because there was a couple of casting lines. I wanted to make sure that this didn't leak. So here's the gasket. There's a little notch I have to line up here. Okay, here's the top. Alright, so I went ahead and duplicated that effort over here, so now I've got two. So now we have a 1/2-inch barb on both ends. And initially I bought 1/2-inch drinking water hose from Home Depot, and that stuff, it smelled like crazy, and I knew it was going to taint the taste of the water. So I found this company on Amazon that sells 1/2-inch food grade nylon tubing. So I guess they use a lot of this for beer, home brewing, and other things. So it really wasn't, I think it was like $4 more for 10 feet of this than what the 1/2-inch hose from Home Depot cost. So this is what I'm planning to use. So now what we need to do is we need to make a pickup line into the bottom of these tanks. I don't know why I just put this back on. So now this will go here. So now we just want to have this drop down into the tank and go to the bottom. This is actually going to work really well, I think, because there's some feet on the bottom that go down. So the pickup tube will end up dropping down into one of these. So it'll be on the very, very bottom. So that's it on the water system for now. Like I said, we still have a shower water system to do, still have a gray water tank, but this was the start, and it worked really well for us on the trip. It's a real game changer, camping with water in the van on this trip. So now that we're back from our trip, I have a lot of video material to send you guys. There's a lot of stuff on this van that you guys haven't seen yet, so be looking for those videos. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Bye.